Hello, welcome to another EFT. Well, I should always start these with intuitive EFT Tap and Chats. I am Dion from Eflowtion, and we're an online service offering EFT tapping and SomaRef to the world. And if you've watched my Instagram lives, I did make it out of the forest. It's quite a fun little adventure in there. So as I was learning Instagram live, all its ins and outs. But yeah, definitely, if you haven't checked out the Instagram lives, maybe check out the Instagram lives in the sense of we at Eflowtion have reduced costs in response to all the goings on in the world. So definitely, if you're interested in an EFT tapping session or a SomaRef session, now's the time. I'm trying to figure out where to look for the camera. It's like a different one on this one. I'll look up there. Making a connection. There we go. And interconnection is what we'll be doing for our EFT Tap and Chat. And in the Instagram live, I made the relation between how all the root systems in the forest is related to, or interrelated, how a forest works. There's actually a lot of research now to show that when you go into a forest, the trees are well aware that you're there and sending little signals to each other in the root system. So, and deep beneath the root system is where a lot of our own emotions probably sitting. So with all these tap and chats, I'll do my little intuitive part at the start. I'll be tapping along. That you can tap along on either side of the palm there. There are radiance points there, so you can tap along if you like. Once again, if you know the tapping points, feel free to tap on all the other tapping points that there are. I will do a bit of an intuitive talk about interconnection and how that actually relates to I guess, how we function in our day-to-day life. And then I'll go into an EFT tapping on interconnection. So interconnection. Let's see where I like the title, but that's probably as far as I went. So interconnection. Probably when I think about interconnection, I mean, with all these things, it's a reframing. So a different look at topics from different points of view. So when I look at interconnection, I probably think that, well, there's many different ways to look at it, I guess, in the sense of interconnection in a community sense, interconnection within a personal sense, interconnection within, I guess, how things flow or on-flow onto other things. And also, the other way of looking at interconnection is the opposite of a disconnection, where things are no longer interconnected. And also, I guess, given this time of year, or coming up Christmas, everything like that, people either feel very connected with each other or very disconnected with each other. And even in this time of COVID, I guess, there is a disconnection where if people are in lockdown, they can't actually have that physical connection with loved ones or just friends or relatives or whatever, pets. So where to start first? I'm actually going to start a bit more broad, and then I'll start to probably work my way inwards. So in a sense of like where we have a what is it, a cause and effect type of view of things, and if that's your view, that's perfectly fine. A cause and effect, so something happens and it affects, like, so kind of like the billiard ball sort of thing. One thing hits there and it hits the other billiard ball, back and forth, back and forth. And you could sort of see that as an interconnection between an event and the end result of whatever that cause and effect is. And I'll explain where I'm going with this, is that where does the cause and where does the effect end? It's like, in a sense of, yeah, like you can never really have a completely original point of view on something. And I'll tie this in. So you can't have original point of view on something because everything that was in your life helped shape that inspiration, that point of view. Your original thought was everything culminating to that point. Everything was interlocking, weaving together to actually get to whether it's a story idea, whether it's meeting the person of your dreams or that job, whatever it is, sort of thing. There was everything from you learning to talk, you learning to drive, you learning to interact with people. Everything sort of played into you actually getting the effect of what you wanted, sort of thing. It wasn't just like, hey, I just arrived on this planet and using my unique skills, I shall navigate and get my end result, sort of thing. It was like you had to almost interconnect with the world, with people, with surroundings, with learnings of everything. Even the failures were the learning experiences to get the effect. Now, with a cause and effect, it's not just one cause, it's almost like many causes rippling together, almost in the sense of like a web, which I was trying to find in the forest today, where it's not just one billiard ball hitting and the effect. There are many billiard balls from many different angles, or basically, what would be the word, resonating together to actually get the desired effect. And then once the effect has happened, then it ripples on to other parts of your life, sort of thing. So it's almost like a very interconnection of different happenings to actually get any desired effect. And sometimes even when we get the effect, we're not satisfied with the effect, we need another effect. So then it's like the billy ball keeps happening or the ripples keep getting bigger. So that interconnection in the sense of a cause and effect, when everything, like when you look at a tapestry, a shirt, for example, there is no cause and effect in the shirt. Everything weaves together to create a shirt, sort of thing. It's an interconnection of things to get a desired result. And it took many people or machines to actually get this end result. It wasn't just a one event or one cause to get the event. So there is a many interlocking or interconnecting of events to get to an end result. So that's the broad aspect. Now to start narrowing it down to something that will actually make sense to people. I guess in the sense of a community, there is a interlocking of an interlocking or engagement of different people, different events, different family environments, different friends, where sometimes these interlockings work, don't work. It's like trying to find the right thing that interlocks for yourself, sort of thing. I'll explain that a bit more. I know that's vague. Yeah, in a community, when you look at my brain wants to go somewhere else with this. We'll go where my brain's going. It's almost like it needs to get it out of its system. Like when you look at like like in a religious sense, and it's like, I'll explain what this meant. It's not religion, but it's to explain it. Like to be excommunicated wasn't so much like to be like cast out of like the church sort of thing. It would be actually excommunicate community. You'll be excluded from the community, basically. So you're then cast out of a community. So back in the day, if you didn't have like if everyone looked at you as if like you were whatever sort of thing, then you wouldn't actually get the assistance or help that you needed, sort of thing. That interconnecting would no longer work because you are outside of something that is a community. There is a disconnect from the community. So almost like a community, like a shirt, works where it's like an interconnection sort of thing until maybe one thread gets pulled loose. Now, I'm just going to start narrowing it down. In a personal, how we actually interconnect with other people, sometimes yeah, it's yeah. Sorry, I just had to wait for it. Think of a better analogy. Yep. So it's like, say, yeah, okay. We'll put it in this sense. Sorry, I just had to narrow down the analogy. So with a computer, for example, seeing that we're all sitting in front of computers right now, in the sense of, and this is in the sense of engaging with the community, sometimes, like when you sit down in front of the computer sort of thing, a computer is just designed to do what it's meant to do, sort of hopefully do what it's meant to do sort of thing. And sometimes when you operate the computer, and like you may be doing what you think is actually the best way to get the end result sort of thing, the effect. And you're basically bashing away that the key is doing something, and then all of a sudden you get an error message, and the computer might freeze or ceases to function sort of thing. And where I was going with this analogy was that sometimes our interactions with people sort of thing, like when you go back and look at the computer and think, oh, hang on, it was actually this way. I just realized I had a headache at the time, and it was like I just couldn't focus sort of thing. And it's like it was actually quite simple. There was a steps I actually just didn't read or just missed it altogether. It was actually quite simple to actually do what I needed to do on the computer, and then like on almost like a second thought, you can actually get something done. That was actually quite simple, in the sense of also interacting with other people. Our approach to it, we may be almost entering in the wrong data of how to interact with people. And that interconnection, that connection starts to get lost. It starts to get disconnected because we almost feel like we're failing in actually connecting with others, and other people might start to disconnect from us. Now, that can be very stressful, of course, and also in a time where those connections might be, whether through restrictions or for whatever with the COVID and that, those restrictions are also in place where no matter what we're trying to do, we just can't actually interact the way that we want. We can't put in the input that we want to actually interact with other people. And some of that, as I was saying before, we like to refer to our brains as computers. I mean, it's the brain that invented the computer, so it's like almost like the brain's referring to itself in third person. But in the sense of where, like, our programming of how we interact might be a bit faulty in actually interacting with others. And in the sense of a COVID restriction sort of thing, I'm not saying it's faulty, I'm just saying there's a few little probably passwords we need to get through to actually interact with someone sort of thing. There's a bit more protocols to actually get through. So interconnection actually gets a bit harder. And once again, the stress from that is quite stressful. Now, just thinking, I'm thinking. With the interconnection where we are disconnected, that's another place where if I start there, it might make a bit more sense. If we are disconnected from connecting to others, if we are disconnected from maybe even connecting with ourselves, what has been all those ripples that have gotten to that place where we are that has caused that disconnection. It's almost as if that when we look at it, yeah, in a similar sense of to when I was trying to find a spider web in the forest. And also how I was saying with the cause and effect, how it's more like a rippling of things that actually get to where we go sort of thing. In the sense of when a fly lands in a web or any insect lands in a web, there's a rippling and that fly has become stuck in that web. A stuckness in a web or a web of connection within ourselves, because everything's connected in our body. One thing relates to the other, mind, body, soul sort of stuff. If there is a stuckness in there, then our ability to actually connect with others gets impeded, like the programming becomes impeded. Our ability to to communicate becomes impeded or stuck because we can't actually go in a flow to actually interconnect with other people. It's like that you're not trying to be a loose thread, but you're starting to disconnect from an interconnection of community. So there is actually probably some stuff there that has happened, possibly in this rippling. It's almost like a ripple that gets bigger and bigger, but when you go back to the source of where that ripple came, where we actually got that disharmony in that ripple, then we can start to find out where that interconnection has gone wrong. Or not so much wrong, but just is not interlocking probably as well as possible. Yeah, I'm just thinking. Yeah, that's where I was going with it. Yeah. So say if I, in front of the computer, was inputting things incorrectly, is it the computer's fault? Is it this lamp that's next to me? Is it its fault? Is it the mouse? Do I need a different mouse as the keyboard? Or I could look at all the external things, but there might be something where I might be the issue, or I might be the one that has the headache at the time that is actually not probably in a place of constriction, so not probably thinking very fluently. Cat loves to make an appearance nowadays. So if we can reduce that stress or that sense of isolation, that sense of disconnection from others, then because think of like a spider web where things join together, and in those joins are like a dot sort of thing. It's like a web of dots, like all just dots everywhere sort of thing. So if one of those connections starts to unravel or is laden down by a blockage, if you think of a spider's web, it could be a leaf that's stuck in there that the spider doesn't want sort of thing, or just doesn't make the web work efficiently, then it starts to almost weigh down that interconnection. And it's probably, and I'm not saying it's that little dot's fault or that little connection's fault. What I'm saying is, by alleviating the stress, whatever hurt is there in that connection, if it's a person, then that dot becomes more functional. It becomes more optimal to the interlocking, the big, like the shirt or the community, or the need to excommunicate something, where it becomes more, hey, if we understand that dot, that person, that person as a situation, then it becomes a more efficient interlocking and interconnecting sort of thing. It's almost as if the web works better. Think of it if think of it in an internet sense sort of thing. If your phone line company goes down sort of thing, that's, you're no longer able to access the internet or the web. So therefore it's like you need that functioning part for the whole to work. So therefore a cause and effect, or a rippling where everything can come together to get the end result, works more efficiently. Because if something is actually not working efficiently, either ourselves or the web in a whole, then we've got something that, doesn't actually function properly. And in our body, once again, is a big interlocking. There's many rhythms that are actually happening in the body for this interconnection to work. And if there is something stuck in our own little body, our own little web, whether it be an emotional blockage, a physical pain, because think about if you've got a sore shoulder, it's like normally your emotions are sort of, you don't feel good in yourself. So that almost that interlocking or that interconnecting between your physical pain and how you just like, you're not normally a cranky person, or you're not normally something, it's like an emotionally like upset person, but because you got that pain, there is that interconnection between your physical pain and your emotion. There is that interconnection. It's almost like a web of and when you think about all your nerves and everything like that, it's like a big, well, when you really look at the nerves, if you go beneath the surface, it very much looks like the roots of a tree. So clearing a blockage in our body serves us better to function better, whether it's working at a computer, working in life, to get our culminative experiences of interconnections, to get our whatever we want in life, or on a whole actually serve us to interconnect the community, so that the community actually has a harmony, has a working togetherness. So in that sense, an interconnection of the one serves the whole. And I think my cat is about to make his, no, he's checking out the lamp. Don't knock off the lamp. Okay. He was considering it. So that interconnection within ourselves, yeah, the one serves the whole and the whole serves the one. Less need to banish a one from the whole Because once again, if that one is actually misunderstood, that one could actually be the key point in the web, that interconnection. So I guess what I'm trying to say in a very roundabout way, as I tend to do, is by healing our own emotional or physical pains or discomforts, it better serves the greater community, and not just the community in your immediate area. Probably the on-flow ripple goes across the world, sort of thing. Think about your favorite singer. It's or a big international singer. It's like their songs are rippling across the world, sort of thing. It's bringing a lot of people harmony or comfort or something like that. So the one can serve the whole. So by healing all yourself, but once again, the whole needs to be able to understand the one, so the person. So therefore, it is this big interlocking web. And even the futility of if you were to be disconnected altogether, then it still doesn't actually, because even being disconnected from something, actually, you still affect the web. So it's kind of pointless in a way. So that said, it's been a bit of a confusing one, I understand, but we'll do some EFT tapping on interconnection, possibly in the EFT, it may even tie in a bit more. But we'll start, I'll just have a quick drink, very humid. We'll start by doing a tapping on interconnection. So just follow along with the actual EFT tapping if you choose. We'll start with the side of the hand. We'll do a setup statement, do it 3 times, and we'll do a EFT tapping on interconnection. So taking full responsibility for your own well-being. Let's begin to tap. Even though I'm feeling disconnected, I'm not feeling interconnected. I still deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself. Even though I feel disconnected from this web, this big web of connection. I might be feeling alone. I still deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself. Even though there's this big interconnection that ties everything together. And I might be feeling like a loose thread in this big interconnection. I still deeply and completely love, honor, accept myself. All this connection, all this interconnection, all this big web, this web of life, that I somewhat feel connected to. Maybe it feels connected to me. But I'm just not making a connection. I feel disconnected. I feel somewhat removed. Removed from the people that I love. Removed from my friends. Possibly removed from myself. I feel terribly disconnected. I feel terribly isolated. like there's this alone feeling deep inside. And maybe I can't connect to others. There might be restrictions in place. In this time of year, where we all come together, almost seems like we all fall apart. Like a shirt of loose threads. All this interconnection. All this feeling disconnected. And maybe I'm feeling disconnected from myself. Not feeling connected to my emotions. Not being aware of my emotions. It's like something happens. I'll just smile and get through it. It's almost like a little part of me starts to unravel and feels more disconnected. Disconnected from this web of life. All this interconnection. And maybe, just maybe, there may have been events that have happened that have caused me to unravel. But even though I've unraveled, the thread's still there. And can be weaved into a shirt again. Can be interconnected again. But I might just have to look inside. And get connected with those emotions. And it might not feel nice to get connected to those emotions. But it might feel nice to be connected again. So I'm open to connecting again. Weaving myself back together. If I've unraveled, it's a good learning experience. With all this loose thread, I can make a better shirt. In this community, when I feel better, may or may not, connect back in. And this big web of life only functions as all webs do. When the one serves the whole. And in a web, there are thousands upon thousands of dots of people all connected together. So that the web can function. This web of life. So when all parts truly let go, truly look inwards, truly connect to their own emotions, releasing some of those negative emotions, then this big web of life truly serves a better purpose. So I'm healing my pain. I'm getting connected with my emotions. I'm releasing some of these emotions that have held me back, that have weighed me down like a leaf in a web. And I'm going to release all these bad feelings. And maybe other people will release their bad feelings in a nice, healthy way, where no one gets hurt. And I don't get hurt. And then this web of life can truly function. I'm releasing the stress in body, mind, and soul. I'm releasing this fear in body, mind, and soul. I'm releasing all this anger in body, mind, and soul. I'm releasing all this shame in body, mind, and soul. I'm releasing all this guilt in body, mind, and soul. Releasing all this terror in body, mind, and soul. Releasing all the sadness in body, mind, and soul. Releasing all this loneliness in body, mind, and soul. And I'm connecting to my goodness in body, mind, and soul. I'm connecting to my oneness in body, mind, and soul. I might even connect to those people that I've disconnected from in body, mind, and soul, if they're healthy connections in body, mind, and soul. And I'm going to feel healthy in body, mind, and soul. And I'm going to feel abundant in body, mind, and soul. I'm going to feel at peace in body, mind, and soul. So this big web of life, because I'm going to do my part in body, mind, and soul. Just taking a deep breath in. And the reason I stress the body, mind, and soul is having that interconnection between all three, and the soul can be whatever you choose, whether it be religious, whatever. It could be a connection to nature. But having a connection and interconnection with ourselves, with the greater community, with one another, even though there may be restrictions in place, our connection, I guess, even the sound of a voice can be soothing and calming to someone that truly needs that connection. So a bit of a different one this time, a bit metaphorical. So I'm Dion from Eflowtion, and once again, if you haven't checked out our website, we've made a lot of updates, and things are greatly reduced. But check it out. If you're really keen on EFT or Soma Breath, now it's definitely the time to connect into us. Both myself and my wife Rebecca, and we can do some EFT or Soma Breath together as a greater tribe and community, even if it's online. So definitely these effects of EFT and Soma Breath, I don't have to be in the room, but your feelings of release, I guess, will be your own connection to yourself. So releasing the weight, you get a bit lighter. So as far as the not the physical as in weight, but as in like the weight or the burden of carrying these emotional, I guess, wounds. So, but once again, I'm Dion from Eflowtion, and I look forward to interconnecting in the next one. See you later. Bye.